Okay. Shall we start?
Shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We'll start now. Now,
Yes, sir.
just a minute. We'll proceed like this.
Okay.
First of all, actually, I will welcome all the participants to this distinguished lecture 46. And this the lecture actually will be given by Professor Hirendranath Ghosh. I will briefly introduce him. Now, I must really admit a type of problem which has come up. Yesterday, Professor Pradeep Gupta was supposed to, Pradeep Datta of Indian Institute of Science, he was supposed to give this 45th lecture, but unfortunately, he had to go to Thailand. So it was under the impression that the lecture is on 20th, and in fact, this was because of my mishandling. So it was shifted to 25th. But now he will give on 30th. He has kindly agreed to give lecture on 30th. Now, so far as today's lecture is concerned, the topic of this lecture is ultra-fast charge carrier, dynamics of 2D transition model.
Metal chalcogenide, sir.
Chalcogenides, best heterotory systems. These are actually all Latin and Greek to a Hatoda fellow like me. But this is in fact a very interesting area, which he is the best person actually who can tell about it. I do not want to really repeat anything so far as the topic is concerned, though actually abstract is given here. I hope all of you have gone through this abstract. Now, so far as Professor Hirendranath Ghosh is concerned, he is currently the director and senior professor of National Institute of Science, Education and Research, Bhubaneswar. Professor Ghosh completed his MSc in chemistry from my alma mater, IIT Kharagpur, in 1989. He has joined prestigious BARC training school in 1989, 33rd batch. Professor Ghosh completed his PhD degree from University of Mumbai in 1996 while working in the chemistry division of Bhabha Atomic Research Center. From 1990, he continued his postdoctoral research in Emory University, Atlanta, Georgia, USA, during 1997 and 98. His current research interest includes ultra-fast interfactorial charge carrier transfer and relaxation dynamics in semiconductor nanoparticles, hybrid nanostructures, perovskite, planometric, and 2D materials using different ultra-fast techniques, which includes femtosecond time involved based band, that is UV device and NIR, pump probe spectrometer and pump probe telehertz meter. Professor Ghosh has published 245 research papers in highly reputed international journals. His research accomplishment have been recognized through awards and fellowship such as INSA Young Scientist 1998, INSA Ekebos Memorial Award 2020, 2000, Homi Bhabha Science and Technology Award 2010, DAE SRC Outstanding Investigator Award 2012, CNR Rao National Prize for Chemical Research 2014, CRSI Bronze Medal 2011, CRSI Silver Medal in 2022, J.C. Bose National Fellowship from DST, Government of India. He is a fellow of all three major science academia in India, that is Fellow of National Academy of Science, Fellow of Academy of Science, and Fellow of Indian National Science Academy, INSA. Recently, he became a Fellow of the National Academy of Engineering, and so this is actually his brief bio sketch. Now, one thing that I would like to say, that the distinguished lecture series that we are organizing, that is actually this our NISER, Bhubaneswar, is also our very, very important partner, along with IIT Bhubaneswar, IMMT Bhubaneswar, SOA University, and also the IEEE Bhubaneswar chapter. So it is nice actually that in spite of all busy schedule, Professor Ghosh agreed to give this distinguished lecture. Now, I do not want to be between you and him, so I will request him, please actually make your presentation. Other institute directors are not here, so let us actually go ahead with the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir is our was the director. I think when I left that institute, that time I guess you were the professor there. So I'm very happy that you have invited me to give the talk. And actually, sir, quite some time was the message came when you were giving the talk. Somehow I was not able to do that. So finally, today I'm able to do that. I'd be really happy I could come there and give physically, because I always like to give talk physically, but somehow could not do it. But anyway, so let us talk actually. Sir has given me my introduction, like after IIT Kharagpur I joined BRC. In between, I was there in US and Germany and many places. At the same time, 5 years I was out of BRC when I joined as a senior professor and also served the director of another DST institute, which I have not mentioned in my biodata. So there actually I built a super special technique actually, which is the data collected from that particular institute when I was as a faculty. And my students actually did a lot of work. So, I must acknowledge that institute is a DST institute. It's the Institute of Nanoscience and Technology. So as I am telling that I'm an expert in ultrafast spectroscopy, at the same time nanoscience. So in one part of the work actually I'm just explaining today. I'll be talking ultrafast charge carrier dynamics of 2D materials, which is basically TMDC, that's what people say, and best heterosystem. And I must thank NISER, and also Department of Atomic Energy. So I must acknowledge the people actually with whom I work. So this alumni and current laboratories lab, which I'm talking, alumni, they are not anybody's from BRC, because when I was there in INST Mali, That was the time I hired, I think 9 or 10 students got PhD through that, and also a lot of student postdoc, did a lot of PhD students did postdoc from other level to the PhD and worked with me. And many of them are actually faculty, like some of them are faculty in IISc Bangalore, many of them are IIT and even ISERS. And currently, spectroscopy lab, the RAID, these are I have also started a new group here in ISER. So the RAID named Rakesh, Krishnendu, Payal, Ipshita, Swati and Chetan, they are the students which are working here. And still in my old lab, this Himanshu, Manvi, Nitika, Vikas is still working. So, and I must acknowledge the fellowship given by JC Bose and also fund I received from ACRB DST and also Department of Atomic Energy, because I got some money and brought it the District of Nanoscience Technology, and Department of Science and Technology was generously funded for my instrumental facility. So first I'll give a little glimpse, like in ultrafast lab, what kind of problem actually we handle. So there are 3-4 different type of problems I handle. One of them is actually, these are basically all solar energy material. I mean, I have to investigate different solar energy material through ultrafast spectroscopy. Why ultrafast spectroscopy actually? There are a few materials I'll be talking, perovskite, plasmonics, 2D materials. There are many more. The idea is that why do we need to do ultrafast? I'll come to that point. So these are few materials I'm working, and also we do heterostructure. That's what I'll be talking today. Heterostructure mostly made out of 2D TMDC materials. So we publish a good number of papers. A lot of students got PhD and did postdoc, and many of them are faculty in India and even abroad also. Some of them are faculty, and a lot of students are still doing postdoc, and few publications which I am showing it here actually. So line of the talk today, I'll be talking a little bit of the techniques, because you have to, this transient absorption spectroscopy, now it is available in the market ready-made, but when my career started like 30 years back, more than 30 years, in BRC, we developed many experimental techniques. In BRC, we are not allowed to buy any facility. You have to develop it and do it. That's the motto of our Baba, that you cannot buy instrument and just do experiment. I mean, he used to believe that only Nobel Prize came to India, which is basically CV Raman, and that facility he really developed. So that concept is still there, although no Nobel Prize has come in science, but I strongly believe a person can be complete scientist, experimental scientist, if he or she can build the facility. That's what he did. And this is one of the glimpses I'll be showing, which I developed in the INAE Mohali. And also I'll be talking about the 2D materials, 2D chalcogenized materials and their heterosystem. Then I'll be talking about the exciton and trions and MoAC2 and gold MoAC2. This is the heterojunction we work. And also I'll be talking about trion modulation, which is gold WH2 system. And also we'll be talking about the band structure modulation of WH2 and nickel dope perovskite system, iodide perovskite. So let's talk about the 2D materials. I think those who are doing research in physics and chemistry, even in biology, they will be knowing a lot of things about the 2D materials. 2D material, first it started with the graphene. Okay, and actually within a couple of years after the discovery of the graphene, they got Nobel Prize. The graphene, because people thought that it will be huge implication in technology. But the little problem was there, like it's a no band gap material, zero band gap material for any kind of devices or semiconductor devices or solar cell, photodetectors. There should be some band gap. So the hunt for 2D materials other than your graphene, actually, people did, and that's why your other 2D materials come to the picture. So 2D materials have attracted extensive interest due to their excellent properties such as high mobility, high conductivity, high mechanical strength, and low spin diffusion length. And this is, I'm showing it how the publication, it's a kind of old literature like 2018. This rate curve has gone really, really up actually. And there's another curve. If, for example, if you talk about only 2D, the number of papers published is really, really high. Now, as I told you that graphene is a zero band gap material. So quest started, I mean, how to make a band gap material. I mean, until it is semiconductor, you cannot use for any devices. So first the MOS2 came, then HBN is a kind of wide band gap material. MOS2 is a small band gap material, like 1 to 2.5 electron volt. Then black phosphorus is also there, this 0.3 to 2 electron volt. And then graphene is zero band gap. And there are multiple applications. You can see in the screen actually what are the application of different materials. It's very clearly suggest, you know, and what are the different electromagnetic radiation can be absorbed by these 2D materials. So these are the things we have shown it. And the lower this thing we are showing that what is the band gap, you know, the band gap structures. You know, there are a lot of theory, experiment, all kind of what people did. So today I'll be talking about yes. No. Today I'll be talking about only 2D materials, which is TMDC. So there are multiple applications. I'll be mentioning few applications of the MOS2: gas sensors, electronic devices, photonic devices, photocatalysis, piezoelectric devices, biosensors, and energy storage. So, I mean, why this MOS2 is highly used? It is all these papers are published and people are using in different applications. And that's what I have mentioned here. There's a multiple application of this 2D material. So, why hetero system? Like, if you take one 2D material, you create electron and hole, and what happens? There is a charge recombination takes place, conduction band, electron and valence band hole. So before the electron is getting transferred from the whatever destination, if they recombine, then efficiency of the devices decreases. So we came out with some idea, like if you take a two system actually, hetero system, one semiconductor and another semiconductor. So this is the I have shown it like how this electron transfer process, charge trapping, recombination, and then coming to the defect states, all this process can be seen. And these processes can be observed by pump probe spectroscopy. It's a pump and probe. You know, this is a big femtosecond setup. That's what we did actually. So mechanistic aspect is very important, and that can be done through femtosecond transient spectroscopy. And that's what we have done here. So this is a typical technique, which is, I am not going to the detail. This is a pump probe technique. It's a high power laser, 800 nanometer, 35 femtosecond and 1 kilohertz, and then 5 millijoule. So one part of the beam, which will go to OPA to generate different colors, which can excite the sample. Another part will go as a probe and it generate white light. So you can monitor the TA spectrum just as I shown it, and also you send the kinetics. And from there, you can talk many things. You can tell electron transfer, you can tell hole transfer, you can tell recombination, you can tell relaxation, you can cooling dynamics. And that's what the important processes takes place in a solar devices, which most of the people do not care actually. They make the device and make the measurements. But if you want to improvise the device efficiency, you should know the mechanistic aspect, and that's the way actually one can do it. So this is, instead of, in addition to that, we have also developed a femtosecond pump probe terahertz spectroscopy, where the energy of the probe photon is very, very like 100 micron or so, microwave actually. And there, see the conductivity, mobility, this kind of important parameters of the carriers has to be measured. So that's a typical technique also we have developed in our lab. And these are ideally one can buy the system, but we purchase many components and develop, and finally the system worked actually. So this is the big laboratory actually. The similar laboratory also right now we are trying to develop in Niger, and my students actually, they are in the process. So eventually there will be state-of-the-art technique. It will be developed, and the technique which I am telling you, this is unique in the country. I mean, nobody has this facility which not only in the ambient temperature, you can also do measurement at 5K. You know, there are many things happens actually. I mean, to understand the mechanistic aspects, one has to monitor in different temperature, you know. So this facility can have the potential to measure all these kinetic parameters. So now let's come to the original subject. So when we excite the semiconductors, you give a photon energy more than the band gap. So you create one electron and one hole. And what happens, the electron actually cool down and in the valence conduction band, and hole can cool down to the valence band, and then eventually due to the Coulombic interaction they form exciton. Okay, so any semiconductor material, if you excite it, you can easily form an exciton, either like cadmium sulfide, cadmium selenide. But if your photon energy is very high, say for example, if you one EV band gap, if you use a 3 or 4 electron volt, then the extra energy of the electron, it can create another electron hole pair. It's called impact ionization. So in a system, by one photon, you can create 2 electron 2 hole. That's called biexciton. And this has been observed in lead sulfide, lead selenide, or small band gap material. So that's easily you can see that. That's what we have observed. And the another quasi-particle which will be discussed today, that is trion. Trion, like as I was telling, if you take a 2D materials and you excite with a laser pulse, initially, immediately it doesn't form exciton, it forms a charge carriers, both electron and hole. And as in the 2D surface, both the electron and hole, the mobility is very high, to move around very fast. So formation of exciton, it takes time. So fair enough. I mean, sometimes it will happen, one electron and hole through the Coulombic interaction, it will interact, it will have a exciton. Even after that, because it's a 2D surface, still there will be lots of free carriers which is moving around in addition to the exciton. Now those excitons, which have one electron, one hole, can interact with the electron and then form a 3-body species, which is 2 electron, 1 hole, or it can form 2 hole, 1 electron. That's called positive trion and negative trion. And this can be observed only in 2D materials. It's very important to know the aspect. If you take any 2D material and try to make a device, you cannot avoid formation of trion. Although the lifetime of the trion is not very high, but in early time scale, presence of trion can be seen. So I'll come that how I come to this work actually. So I saw a paper, the paper came for review quite some time back, and then I figured out that somebody did some luminescence study where they have taken MOS2 and graphene and they have put voltage, okay, from 0.2 volt to 0.56 volt. So what as if they are putting a positive volt, then it means that you are putting extra electron in the system. So they have observed the luminescence spectra going to the redshifted. So the energy of the luminescence is going down. So that they have attributed, it's a trion. But I did not find how much time it takes, what is the mechanistic aspect, what is the mobility. There are many questions arise in my mind. So I discussed with my students, and then it's telling we need to synthesize 2D material, particularly MOS2, and we can do it. So that's why our quest started, and that's what we made material. So this is the MOS2 monolayer we prepared, and we have characterized it through Raman spectroscopy and AFM. and figure out that through Raman spectroscopy, if the EG and T2G peak gap, it is like a 19.9 wave numbers, then you can tell this is a purely monolayer. And also because we want to do the hetero system, so we put also gold and took the measurement and figure out that, what is the thickness of the gold and all this. So the MOS2 was prepared by chemical vapor deposition, typical condition we kept, and I took the luminescence and figure out that, as reported literature, you have kind of broad luminescence, you can deconvolute it. You can see that A, B, and A minus 3 luminescence band can be deconvoluted. And we talked about that, how A and B is happening. This is a higher exciton, a lower exciton, and at the same time, 2 electron, 1 hole as a trion, actually, which I discussed, it also can be observed. Then we did ultrafast transient studies. And then what we observed in transient studies, actually you see bleach due to A exciton, B exciton, and there is a positive band. You can see here, positive band in both low energy and high energy. So this, generally if you take a normal semiconductors, you have positive absorption band and their transient kinetics are very similar. But in this case, we observe dissimilar. You can see this kinetics here, that 530 and 720, which is 720 is a red shifted band and 530 is a blue shifted band. We found that kinetics, actually formation kinetics is very different. Yeah, 720 nanometer is very slowing down. And also we did intensity dependent study. We found that 720 nanometer species is basically taking longer time. And actually we have attributed the 720 species as trions, and 530 is basically defect mediated photoabsorption. Then what we did, we put gold. And what gold does, actually if you excite MOS2, the electron can be transferred to gold, and you can see the huge luminescence coin. That's what we have seen it, luminescence coin change. So what we did also monitor the transient kinetics, both MOS2 and gold MOS2 at 670 nanometer. Drastically the intensity reduces. We just normalize it and measure out the kinetics. We talked about the electron transfer, MOS2 to gold. Now when you monitor the trions, here also find the dissociation dynamics and formation dynamics of the trion in presence of gold. So we found that trion formation time is fast, at the same time your dissociation is very fast. Normal trion dissociation is take long time, that you have observed, seen it, but in presence of gold you can see that dissociation is very, very fast. That's what we have monitored. So this is the TOC of our paper, which is published a couple of years before. So it is that you excite MOS2, so you create free carriers in 500 femtosecond form exciton, and then exciton take another electron from trion. So the typical standard reactions actually are talking about. But when you put gold, then we found that the gold actually majority of the free carriers it takes. At the same time, it can dissociate the exciton and trions. Trion dissociation time is 600 femtosecond. But when you put gold, exciton dissociation is 600 and gold in position of gold, the trion electron transfer is 3.7 picosecond. Now the next is that, how do you know that we are telling this is due to trions? Because we are expecting it can be positively trion also, it can be negatively trion. So what we did, we took a gold. Now in this case, gold we did not take as a nanoparticle. We take as a plasmonic materials. Okay, so gold plating we did. So in WS2 and gold system we did. And, what we have observed that it's a temperature dependent luminescence. This is reported by literature. I want to mention, as you decrease the temperature, your trion luminescence is very clear. Okay, because the trion formation energy level, it can populate it, at low temperature. From that level to, it can easily go to the excited states, but in case of low temperature, it cannot go. So we observe very clear luminescence band for the trions. And there are multiple applications, people have seen it. Electron transfer process in gold MO2 and gold MOS2 system. It's a better system at a long wavelength. So here we would like to tell that we take a system. So you have a quartz glass, on top of it a gold, and on gold you have WS2. This is a monolayer actually, because by hot engine synthesis we've done it. And we did the Raman studies. It is very clear that WS2 is a monolayer, and we did the absorption studies. It's clearly seen there is interaction between them. Now, when you take pure WS2, you can see the luminescence band, and you can deconvolute it to A and A minus. Fair enough. We could see that A minus intensity is actually very, very low. But in case of AU-WS2 system, the same luminescence band, if we deconvolute it, you can see that it's not a non-Gaussian nature of the luminescence band. So if you deconvolute it, you can see that A minus intensity is drastically increased compared to WS2 system. So what we did, we studied some ultrafast dynamics, pure WS2, AU-WS2, okay? And pure WS2, we talked about A exciton, B exciton, and also A minus. And then in case of AU-WS2, we could see that the positive absorption band is actually increasing. So what we did, we monitor for the bleach and also the A minus, that the trion minus. Then we figure out that in presence of gold, the intensity of the trion is increasing and on the time scale is also increasing. So trion formation time in pure WS2 observe 1.3 picosecond. In case of gold WS2, we got 1.9 picosecond. Now, let's talk about the hot carrier dynamics. I mean, as you told that we took gold plasmonic. It's a gold plate actually. So pure gold and gold WS2 in INAE region we have done it. Pure gold is given excitonic, bleach due to gold thing. They are giving around 900 nanometer. You can see the bleach. Okay. Plasmon peak of the gold comes around 900 nanometer. But when you put WS2, this intensity drastically reduced. You can see that the next curve, and there is a huge positive band increasing compared to WS2. You can see the WS2 is also there in the INAE region. So we monitor the kinetics at the plasmonic position, where you can see that the intensity at 850 nanometer in presence of gold drastically reduced, and we are attributing to the plasmonic hot electron transfer from gold to WS2, which we determine as 390 femtosecond, like equivalent to 13.39 picosecond. Again, we did intensity dependent study and figure out that as you increase the intensity, your trion formation time in both cases increasing, pure WS2 and gold WS2. But in case of gold WS2, the time scale is taking much longer time, because more and more electron come to the picture, intensity is increasing. At the same time, trion formation is taking more time. Now the question is that, as you are telling it, that what we are talking about, we are talking about the trion, exciton, and free carriers. As you are telling, trion is a three-body system. So we expect two things. The mobility of the quasi-particle will be relatively much slower. So we made the photoconductivity measurement, and there we found that in photoconductivity, because some extra electron is coming from the gold system, you can see that much higher, the red curve compared to the green curve. And at the same time, when you normalize the mobility decay, we could easily find that the mobility decay of the gold WS2 system much slower, because it's a three-body system. So if you create trions in this kind of heterojunction, it takes longer time to go to the devices. So this is actually is not great for things. So we are following this equation, we determine both photoconductivity and mobility, and that's what we have published here. So the next problem, actually, I'll be talking about the band structure modulation of another TMDC material and nickel dope cesium lead iodide. Cesium lead iodide, you know, everybody talks about the perovskite system, and as iodide band gap is much smaller, so this can be used as a solar device material. But the problem is that cesium lead iodide is stability is very poor. So that's why there are people, a lot of people have studied that instead of pure perovskite, if somebody can dope the material with nickel, you can see that in 5 days, you can see the spectrum, 5 days, completely it's becoming yellowish color, but in 60 days for nickel dope, the color is not changing, means the degradation is very low. So this is the current voltage curve, we have seen it, and I figure out that when, you know, once it is not the ready-made sample, when you measure that IV curve, we could find that nickel doped material is very stable, and it is give a higher efficiency. Now we wanted to study some, you know, electron transfer, hole transfer process with the perovskite and WS2, because as we are telling that if you make a 2D materials and top of it perovskite, due to the charge separation, the device efficiency can be improved drastically. So what we did, we have synthesized nickel doped cesium lead iodide, and also we have during through liquid exfoliation, we made nanosheet of WS2, and these are the XRD. It clearly suggests that in presence of WS2, that XRD curve clearly suggests that there is a change in the XRD pattern, and also we took a pure cesium lead bromide, iodide, and nickel doped iodide. That's what characterization we did here. We have also done the HRT measurements, and also we done the XPS and photoluminescence studies. And in transient, it is clearly seen that in a material you can see both NCPI, which is basically nickel doped CPI, and also WS2 side by side. They're there. You can see the nice heterostructure. We found that there's a optical absorption, and the luminescence also quenching higher than normal CPI. So the question is that the perovskite and WS2 and nickel doped perovskite and W, what happens? The luminescence is quenching more. So what is happening here? Even you can see the luminescence lifetime. In case of nickel doped material and WS2, this decay dynamics is much faster. It suggests that electron transfer is more facilitating. Now, if you calculate the energy level, both CPI WS2 and NCPI WS2, in one case it forms quasi type 2 material, in another case is formed type 2 materials. So quasi type 2, what it does, electrons, you can see that energy level very similar. So electron can be delocalized, but a little bit hole can go. But in this case, where is pure type 2, your electron can move to WS2 and hole can move to NCPI. So there is a huge charge separation, which is basically very good for the system. So we did some DFT calculation. I mean, I did a collaboration with my own student who did postdoc with me. Now he is a faculty in ISC Bangalore, Material Science Department. So he does also theory, and they also did the DFT calculation and figure out that it is a indeed CPI WS2 is a quasi type 2 and NCPI WS2 a type 2 material. That's what we can see that. And electron accumulation has been observed in both cases in WS2. Now we did transient absorption studies of CPI, and at 10 picosecond, what we observed that CPI WS2, you can see that you can deconvolute the peak. You can see the peak for both WS2 and CPI because you are exciting both of them. And then you monitor the kinetics. You can see that's pretty similar in case of 670. So basically electron is delocalized. But in case of WS2, you can see the 640. CPI WS2 is much slower and WS2 is basically faster. So it suggests that some kind of whole transfer can take place. When you take that NCPI, things are very, very different. Here we observe the electron transfer from NCPI is the type 2 system and clear whole transfer from WS2 to NCPI. So NCPI, from NCPI you get electron, and from WS2 it gets electron, it goes to the whole, to the NCPI. So it is electrons are accumulated in WS2 and holes are accumulated in NCPI. So we could see some really charge accumulation, and a charge separation is very, very effective. We talked about the hot electron transfer, bandage electron transfer from monitoring the 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, everything we have determined. So what we did, we now measured the photocurrent. As you are telling that charge separation very effective in while doped NCPI and WS2. So we did that, and we can easily see that in case of CPI and CPI WS2 and CPI WS2, this combination, we really did not see much different. But in case of NCPI, we found that the photoconductive measurement current voltage curve, we can so clearly it is a much higher, you know, the photocurrent in case of NCPI WS2. So it suggests that the heterosystem charge separation is very, very high, which is basically very efficient for any kind of solar devices. So this is the TOC. This paper right now in ASAP article of ACS Photonics. So this paper is already published. So we talked about that once you dope with a nickel, you form, due to doping, it forms like a type 2 system where the electron can be accumulated in WS2, hole can be accumulated in NCPI. And also we talked about the charge transfer process, electron and hole. And we talked about this, the TOC actually, which have shown it. And then we also, through our density function calculation, we talked that we also mentioned that the heterojunction is extremely stable, and also we monitor higher photocurrent. So now I'm concluding my talk by remarking that so we have demonstrated ultra-fast trion dynamics, this quasi-particle ultra-fast time scale. We are the first group in the world to mention it actually. Okay, and now many people are working that field, talking about the trion dynamics. Many theorists also working the time scale, how fast the trion formation is there, and also in WS2 system. And then also we talked about the MOS2 gold heterojunction. We found ultra-fast electron transfer of MOS2 to gold, which disrupted the trion formation in the monolayer. So if you feel that trion is no good, so you can put a gold particle actually, and then it can capture the electron very fast. On the other hand, if you want to confirm that the trion truly exists, see, in this earlier case, gold means it's a very small particle. It does not, and the concentration of the gold is very low. So it does not the photon which are giving it. But in case of WS2 gold heterojunction, where gold is a basically plate, so it's a plasmonic gold. You can see that, and we found that plasmonic hot electron transfer from gold to WS2, which is basically improve the trion formation. And we also demonstrated effective charge separation in band modified WS2 nickel dope cesium lead iodide heterosystem, resulting very high photocurrent than undoped system. And thank you very much. Please ask any question if you feel. I hope you. Yes, I have given some glimpse. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Professor, for your excellent lecture. But now we'll request those who are present, please ask any question, any doubt, or any type of things that you think about.
Professor Ghosh.
Yes, sir.
This is Parijat.
Yes, Parijat, sir. Boliye.
Actually, we have been also working on gold promoted heterojunction systems.
Yes.
And at 550 nanometer, we are observing plasmon resonance peak. But in your case, you told 850 nanometer, you observe that the resonance, plasmon resonance peak for gold.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yes, here. You can see it here, sir. Nanofilm. See the
I haven't found it. But the reason behind this so much difference, 550 and on titanium you have put gold nanoparticles. And
no, sir. I
here
tell you, no, it is not nanoparticle, sir. This is a film actually. This is basically a bulk gold. It's not nanoparticle. It's a bulk gold, and it is through electron deposition we synthesized. Through E-beam deposition we made it, and this pretty thick compared to nanoparticle, and it's a kind of two-dimensional. This is also a 2D material, but the thickness is very, very high. So that's why this gold is give a plasmonic peak around 960 nanometer. That's what I have shown it actually. It's kind of broad band. And even in the transient, if you see this transient actually, even the NIR, it goes up to like almost 1200 nanometer. You can see this transient peak here around 900, 890, 880 nanometer. The plasmon peak actually is coming. Yeah.
Another, this is, please keep it. Another clarifications from you, very expert in this area. And gold, this work function is very high.
Yeah.
Compared to WS2.
Yes.
But this how from gold electron is going to and this WS2.
Yeah.
It should be reverse.
No, sir. See, that is separate. So actually, the electron can come to the Fermi level. That is the point is you have. But when you excite the plasmon band itself, that's what I've shown in 370 nanometer. The plasmonic band itself, your work function increases drastically. It can cross over and it can give the electron to the conduction band of the WS2. That's what I have shown it actually. Because you are giving a photon. So photon it does, it takes the energy of the electron from the plasmonic band actually, to excite the plasmonic band, and that electron can go easily to the WS2. That's what we have demonstrated. And you can see this transient kinetics. You can see this 850 kinetics, the intensity of the gold actually, gold plasmon drastically reduced. You can see the kinetics also, and also you can see this gold plasmon band and gold WS2. That 900 nanometer band is almost completely missing, is gone actually. You can see this. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this
Yes.
clarifications.
Yes, sir.
Any other question?
I know it is a very technical talk.
No, it is absolutely, it should be technical.
I mean, very exciting field, sir. This is very exciting field. So far, 2 students got PhD in 2D materials, and at least 3 students did postdoc in 2D materials. So good amount of work we have done it. We understood many things, and our work is highly cited actually, particularly the trion dynamics, and many more actually. This 2D material work is highly cited. And we are also doing a new type of work in Niger. You know, we hire students here. We are doing with, it is not only 2 semiconductors, with that, with organic molecules like the C60 or Perylene system also, we are doing where you can talk about the interlayer, etc. So this is basically kind of physics subject, but chemist people like us who we understand the physics also. At the same time, we can modify the system, and which brings new science in the plate. Yeah, that's what we are doing now. So I feel that I should discuss about this topic.
Any other question?
So no questions, I think so.
No, no, it's okay. So, Professor Ghosh, actually, you have created a sort of history because in this lecture, in this series, so far, we have been only concentrating on engineers.
Okay.
But now, actually, we are switching over to, we are also making this sort of thing that equally the scientists will have a greater role also. So, therefore, we are now, you are actually the pioneer, but at least to the best of my knowledge, two more are on the line.
Okay, sir.
One from IIT Kharagpur, from chemistry department, and the other person is from Indian Institute of Chemistry department. Another is from Statistical Institute. So this trend actually have started, and we will really follow this trend.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, these are all device material. I mean, it is just before the devices. I mean, these all materials are devices, 2D materials are engineering materials. So we feel that to understand the mechanistic aspects, this spectroscopy is very, very important.
No, definitely, they're important.
Yeah.
So may I now request actually to please switch on your video so that we can take a photograph. Please.
Just 1 second.
You can actually close this side also.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Thank you so much. Now, Professor Ghosh, I'll make a small announcement as a sort of, appreciation from our side. We'll send you a small memento.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
I would love to take my hand, but I'm so sorry, sir.
Pardon? Yes, you can. You can come anytime here, or I can go also. There's no issue.
Please, I mean, you can come here. That'll be great, sir. I mean, last 1 year you did not visit, so that'll be great for us.
No, I will definitely come. There's no issue at all.
Yeah.
So now I will request our Professor Naidu Madam to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to esteemed members. On behalf of INAE Bhubaneswar chapter and our esteemed co-host, Shiksha Anusandhan DMTP University, CSIR MMT Bhubaneswar, IIT Bhubaneswar, NISER Bhubaneswar, and IEEE Bhubaneswar subsection. It is my honor to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks for today's enlightening session. We are deeply grateful to Professor H.N. Ghosh sir from NISER Bhubaneswar for his exceptional lecture on a beautiful topic. Professor Ghosh, your deep insight into ultra-fast dynamic and potential of 2D transition metal have expanded our understanding of this cutting-edge field, inspiring all of us present here today. We are privileged to have your guidance and support. Thank you, sir. And also, I am very much thankful to Professor Damodar Acharya, Chairman, IIT Bhubaneswar chapter, in organizing such an impactful lecture. We're also thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shiksha Anusandhan DMTP University and the directors of IIT Bhubaneswar, CSR MMT Bhubaneswar, sir yourself too, NISER Bhubaneswar, for your unwavering encouragement and support. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the esteemed fellow and members of INAE and the members who are present here as a participants exemplifies their commitment to fostering knowledge and innovation. A special note of appreciation goes to the organizing teams from all collaborating institutes whose tireless efforts ensure the seamless execution of this event. Finally, I thank all the attendees, faculty members, researchers, and the students for joining us and making this event a resounding success with your active participation. Thank you once again, Professor Ghosh sir, for your thought-provoking presentation and for being the part of this prestigious lecture. We are happy to have you, sir. With your busy schedule, you take out the time to come here and deliver your presentation. Let us continue to collaborate and push the boundaries of science and engineering. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Okay, namaskar.